It's going on. Hey, welcome. Bowling, bowling, bowling. Here we go. We got some good stuff. Oh, yeah, so we got the I Ching. We're going to start with some I Ching. And can we do, is it okay if we do a reading on you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the I Ching is like this Chinese fortune-telling text. So there's like 64 trigrams, I think they're called. And so there's like different little ones. And so we can figure out like, you know, you ask it questions kind of or whatever, and it'll give you answers.
Cool.
Sort of, but it's kind of scary to some people. So last time me and Zane were too scared to do it kind of.
So
but,
like a horoscope, yeah.
Yeah. So do you need a reading about any like love or like your life or tomorrow or what do you...
Totally.
What's your intention that we should get a reading on?
Which
like the question?
Which part?
Or what kind of... Yeah, what do you
area?
want? Yeah.
I guess I would like a reading on love.
Okay, you want to roll the dice?
Yeah.
Go for
All
it.
right, roll these dice. Okay, 14. I bet that's a good one.
That's early.
It sounds like it.
Oh, 15's modesty. Okay, that's funny. Okay, 14 is Ta Yu, which is possession in great measure. Okay. So, the fire in heaven above shines far, and all things stand out in the light and become manifest. The weak fifth line occupies the place of honor, and all strong lines are in accord with all things come to the man who is modest and kind in a high position. Okay, this is the judgment. Possession in great measure, supreme success.
Oh.
The two trigrams indicate that strength and clarity unite. Possession in great measure is determined by fate and accords with the time. How is it possible that the weak line has power to hold the strong lines fast and possess them? It is done by virtue of unselfish modesty. The time is favorable, a time of strength within, clarity and culture without. Power is expressing itself in a graceful and controlled way. This brings supreme success and wealth. Okay. So here's a picture of the tri. That's what the lines they're describing. There's these like little lines. I don't know.
That's part of the reading.
That's the trigram. So there's like they throw these like yarrow stalks.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what a yarrow. There's like some and they're different things. So we got this is the image. Fire in heaven above, the image of possession in great measure. Thus the superior man curbs evil and furthers good, and thereby obeys the benevolent will of heaven. The sun in heaven above, shedding light over everything on earth, is the image of possession on a grand scale. But a possession of this sort must be administered properly. The sun brings both evil and good into the light of day. Man must combat and curb evil, and must favor and promote the good. Only in this way does he fulfill the benevolent will of God, who desires only good and not evil. So yeah.
Does that apply to you? Do you feel like
I'm
you
feeling
connect to any of that?
I think that's good.
I need someone possessive.
Yeah.
That's what I took away.
Yeah, great possession. Yeah, I don't know what that even means. Yeah.
It said something about the man.
Yeah, a magnanimous, liberal-minded man should not regard what he possesses as his exclusive property.
Okay, so I should be in an open relationship.
I guess,
Yeah.
but should place it at the disposal of the ruler or of the people at large.
Okay.
So you should be in like a relationship with the government as well, probably. Like
That's what I was
you know,
planning on doing.
you're dating someone, but they're also dating the government.
Yeah, aren't we all in
In
Texas?
so doing, he takes the right attitude towards his possession, which as private property can never endure. A petty man is incapable of this. So think about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so no petty man.
Yeah, he is harmed by great possessions, but instead of sacrificing them, he would keep them for himself.
Oh.
So yeah, sacrificing your possessions will pay off.
Okay, cool.
Good to think about.
So if I become a minimalist,
Spring cleaning.
yes.
The situation is very favorable. People are being won not by coercion, but by unaffected sincerity, so that they are attached to us in sincerity and truth. However, benevolence alone is not sufficient at the time of possession in great measure, for insolence might begin to spread. Insolence must be kept in bounds by dignity. Then good fortune is assured.
Okay. Be dignified.
To bless me... Okay, okay. This is good. In the fullness of possession and at the height of power, one remains modest and gives honor to the sage who stands outside the affairs of the world. By this means, one puts himself under the beneficent influence descending from heaven, and all goes well. Confucius says of this line, to bless means to help. Heaven helps the man who is devoted. Men help the man who is true. He who walks in truth and is devoted in his thinking and furthermore reveres the worthy is blessed by heaven. He has good fortune and there is nothing that would not further. So put good vibes out. Get good vibes in.
That's all right. I see a clear path forward.
That's the Taiyu. So that was just a little taste.
Cool.
You know, just give
Scary.
that. Yeah. But then, so that's just a fun one. But then we got George Burns. We're gonna do some George Burns stories.
Nice.
So he has glasses.
Okay.
He
looks
and
friendly.
he's famous for being married.
Okay.
Him and his wife are like duo comedians. So it's like they're both
What's her name?
Gracie.
Gracie
George
Burns.
and Gracie Burns. Yeah.
Okay.
And so they do stuff together.
But the book is called 100 Years, 100 Stories.
100 Years, 100 Stories.
Which is cool.
And we're around. We've done.
Is he 100 years old? Is that
He's 100. He's an old man. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
100 years old.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And this is to
100-year-old
celebrate
man.
his 100th birthday.
Good for him.
And we're on 37. So we've done a lot of the early ones. The early ones were a lot of him in vaudeville, stuff
Yeah,
like
The
that.
stories are interesting.
Yeah, the stories are different. Zane's gonna do one.
It's a
Okay,
story
got
for
it.
every year of his
Not,
life.
I mean, like hypothetically, but
They're all
also
really short,
not
too, yeah.
not explicitly, but implicitly.
Okay, this is story number 37, or year 37, whatever. Whichever.
Page.
Yeah, page 72. But it's story 37. This story involves a big comedian who for many years had one of the most popular shows on radio.
Okay.
In person, he was very funny and very fast on the uptake.
Jack Benny.
But because I, like many of us here in Hollywood, know that he was also an incurable womanizer, I won't reveal his name.
Jack
The tabloids would, but I have a higher standard. I'll just tell you that his weekly half-hour show took place in a New York tavern. Sound like anyone we know?
Shit.
Anyway, this comedian got married
Frasier
to...
from Cheers.
Yeah.
It's Frasier.
Anyway, this comedian got married to a very lovely lady, and the newlyweds
Hot.
immediately went on a honeymoon cruise. And right away, the first night out, he wound up in a cabin of another woman. After a few
I
hours...
would hate that if I
would
was
suck,
his
right?
significant other. I'd be so pissed.
Wait.
After a few
Let me
hours,
come.
the wife went looking for him, and sure enough, she bumped into him just as he was coming out of another woman's cabin. And without batting an eye, he said to her, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm also a jewel thief." And he was stealing. That's one of his classic George Burns jokes.
Yeah, that was
stories.
good. I liked it.
Well,
It was because we had like a bit of a gossip.
a little gossip.
A little gossip and then a joke.
Gossip, yeah.
That's great. Let it go. You
Yeah, go for
You
38.
You
Go
do
for
38.
I'm just mad
So-
at that guy for cheating on his wife.
Right, but,
Yeah, but
that
we
he's
won't say his
bringing
name.
truth to power. Truth. He's bringing power to the. He's letting truth be known.
38.
All right,
And he
38.
talks kind of like he smokes
Oh, yeah, I didn't
cigars.
do a
Okay.
voice.
You can do whatever
thing.
voice you want, and it would
He
be
is
a
fine. But you
100-year-old
don't
man.
have to.
Okay.
But he smokes cigars.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. All right, 38.
The number doesn't matter.
There was a young fellow around Hollywood named Barney Dean who used to amuse the performers with his little jokes and stories. Bob Hope took a particular liking to him
Wow.
and always
that's
had him
big.
hang around him in his dressing room.
Gay.
Bob kept him on salary just to keep him company, and in order to get a deduction, he listed Barney as a writer. Once, when I was set to do a guest spot on the Hope radio show, I
Shit.
called Bob and asked him to get a script to me. He said he would have a messenger drop it off that afternoon. The next thing I knew, the script was delivered to me, and the messenger was Barney Dean. Barney, I said.
Barney!
How come you're the messenger? You're a writer. George, he said, if I wasn't a messenger, I wouldn't be a writer.
Wow. What?
That's profound.
He's got
I like Barney's attitude. I'll say that. I like Barney's attitude.
Wow.
You want to go hit another one, or you got a good rhythm going?
Yeah, I'll do another one. This one's a long one. It's a three pages.
I hope Gracie's in it.
39. I've always said there are only 2 comedians who made me laugh when I just looked at them.
Mr. Blackface and Mr. Extra Blackface.
No. One was W.C. Fields.
Oh, he's funny.
This story is about the other one, Ben Blue.
I don't know who that is, bro. Ben Blue?
I wonder if he's fat like W.C. Fields.
Maybe. Shortly before we came to Hollywood, Gracie and I took a 6-act vaudeville unit out on a tour of 8 weeks. Cool. And Ben Blue was one of the acts.
That's a hot unit. We're sort of a unit. Yeah. We're sort of a comedy unit.
Can't separate us.
Vaudeville unit.
We got a $10,000 guarantee from each theater.
Yes.
Out of which we paid each of the acts.
Type shit.
Whoa, touring vaudeville polycule.
And if the box office receipts were over a specified amount, the theater and Burns and Allen would split the difference. So if business was good, we would make quite a bit of money. We were doing 4 shows
Gracie
a day.
Allen. Her name's Gracie Allen.
Oh, okay.
So it's Burns and Allen.
That's good.
Allen.
We were doing 4 shows a day to capacity crowds, but we would do even better if we could just squeeze in an extra show.
You're gonna do 5 shows a day. So many shows. So much. I guess it's more like the Ren Fair where you can do the shows in like the daytime and stuff.
I mean,
it's a theater, I think, so it's dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
However, the only way that could be done was to cut Ben Blue's act from 35 minutes to 13 minutes.
No, sir.
No,
sir.
And I'll tell you a little
Impossible.
secret.
Yeah.
Impossible.
It's very difficult to cut an actor, especially Ben Blue. Because as much as the audience loved Ben Blue's act, Ben Blue loved it even more.
Oh, I know some people like that.
Yeah, we do. Now, at that time, I was paying Ben Blue $750 a week.
Dang, this
I
is
wish
such
I
a
was
good
making
deal.
that.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
money.
vaudeville is so fucked. Even
I would
without
make that
inflation,
now. I would be rich.
They
if
are
I made
doubling
that now.
our
With
money.
inflation, you'd be making so much a week.
Yeah.
You'd be making so
Without
much.
inflation,
Yeah,
I would love
even- I'll do it
$750.
without
Oh,
inflation.
yeah. Still great.
So I called him into my dressing room and said, "Sit down, have a drink. Here, smoke a cigar." "You can't cut my act," he broke in.
Whoa.
Shit.
Then I said,
He knows.
"Now that you've brought it up, let me tell you something.
You brought it up. I'm waiting in your dressing room.
You're getting $750 a week, and you're doing 35 minutes. If you cut your act down to 13 minutes, we'll be able to do an extra show, and I'll give you $1,000 a week.
Let's go.
You'll be making $250 a week more."
Type shit.
He stood up and indignantly said, "Who the hell do you think you're talking to? 13 minutes? That would mean I'd have to take out the 10 cents a dance bit that I do with my wife."
Sounds good.
10 Cents a Dance is, I know that song. That's a song.
Oh.
10 Cents a Dance.
It sounds good.
It's about a lady who dances with guys.
Oh, yeah.
For 10 cents.
He does it
a
Right,
with
he does it with
his
his
wife,
wife.
yeah.
It's a fun routine.
And that's the only thing she does in my act. If I cut that, she'd
Oh.
divorce me.
Right.
I said, "Ben, forget it. I'm sorry I brought it up."
Forget it.
Hey, forget it.
With that,
Forget
he
about
stormed out of the room. I didn't even have time to powder my nose before he stuck his head back into the room and said, $350? You got it, I said. So we did 5 shows a day. Ben did 13 minutes, and 2 weeks later, his wife divorced him.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Isn't that a good story?
Most good stories end with that question.
But wait, there's more.
Wow.
No way.
No.
His wife took him to court and sued him for $600 a month alimony. At the trial, Ben defended himself. He said to the judge, "Your Honor, I can't afford to pay my wife $600 a month alimony. If I did that, I wouldn't have enough money to put gas in my Duesenberg."
So Duesenberg is a car, right?
Yeah.
And so, have you ever heard someone say, that one was a doozy?
Oh,
Does
doozies
it
from
come from
Duesenberg?
that?
Yeah.
That's
Anytime anybody
crazy.
calls something a doozy, it's
Because of
the
Duesenberg. Yeah, it's a fancy car.
I had no idea.
Oh.
Fancy car.
The judge stared at him and said, "You've got a Duesenberg?" There's a pause. Then Ben quickly said, "But, Your Honor, don't forget, I drive it myself." The next time I saw Ben Blue, he was driving a Chevrolet. That was a doozy of a story.
Yeah, talk about a doozy.
That was good.
That was cool.
Dang. These are fun.
You're gonna do one?
Yeah, I want to. In 1932, when Gracie and I signed a 2-year contract with Paramount to make feature pictures, the first thing we had to do was move to Hollywood, and the first mistake we made was to ask Gracie's sister to find us a house. She not only found us a house, she found us an Italian villa on 4.5 acres. It was so big we didn't have any next-door neighbors, and the house was huge, with dozens of enormous rooms.
Sounds great.
We spent most of our time in the kitchen because that was the only room that didn't have an echo in it.
Oh, it's too big.
It's too big.
Too big a house.
It was located on Sunset Boulevard,
Nice.
right in the middle of Beverly Hills. I had a chance to buy the whole thing, house and lot, for $80,000. But I wasn't going to let them put anything over on me, so I just leased it for 2 years. What we did buy was a big car. It was an extra long custom-built limousine with a glass partition between the driver and the passengers. We didn't buy this car to keep up with the Joneses. We got it to keep up with the house.
Owning a limousine?
But we had a problem with the car. The back seat was so deep that when Gracie sat down, her feet didn't touch the floor.
Everything's too big for these guys. The house
They
is too
sound
big.
little.
The car is too big.
One day she said to me, "George, return the car and have them take 6 inches off the back seat." I said, "Gracie, you can't do that. This car is designed by experts who get millions of dollars just to design back seats. This back is custom built." "Well, mine isn't," she said. There was a long pause, then I got very mad because I hadn't thought of that line. But Gracie had won her point. We sent the car back and had 6 inches cut off of the back seat. From then on, Gracie was very comfortable, but when anybody else sat on that seat, they fell on the floor.
Wow. That was a good Gracie story.
Yeah.
You were trying
Yeah.
to get a good
Yeah,
Gracie
Gracie's
story.
good.
Gracie doesn't care about
She doesn't-
anyone but her.
Right, yeah. She's got her own.
I wish I'd thought of
Her
that,
own
Gracie.
motive.
Yeah,
Like when he
I
said
thought of that
Yeah,
line.
that's a good line.
They would
yeah.
probably rip
They
a
love
lot.
lines.
They would
yeah.
probably do improv
Hey,
together.
don't do a topper on me. Hey, that's my safe line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't roast me.
Their relation, their goals. They're kind of goals.
Comedy power couple, kind of.
The ultimate, yeah.
Yeah. I bet they killed on Roast Battle.
Yeah.
It wasn't long after Gracie and I began doing movies that the party invitations started to roll in.
Wow.
One of the first big ones we went to was given by the head of Paramount Studios.
Huge.
It was an engagement
Paramount
party
Plus.
for Gary and Rocky Cooper.
Gary Cooper.
Gary Cooper, Rocky Cooper.
Gary Cooper's huge.
Was Rocky a
I don't
woman,
know
or
who Rocky. I think
were
Rocky's
they-
a woman.
were
I
they
guess.
gay back
Raquel?
It's Rocky.
'Cause I
Yeah,
heard-
I mean, it's just Rocky Cooper. And an engagement party for Gary and Rocky Cooper. That's
I heard
weird.
Gary Cooper was gay.
Maybe
so.
Gary and Rocky are brothers.
You're thinking of Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson's a gay guy named Rock.
Maybe-
Gary Cooper's gay. Rocky is his butch beard, I'm guessing.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe Rocky's
Gary's
his
not
brother.
a gay guy.
They're both.
He's the straightest guy.
He's singing in the rain.
You're thinking of Fred Astaire.
Or wait, who's the other guy? Who's never mind.
Gary Cooper's in like High Noon and like
Right. He's in westerns.
and he's
stuff.
like the leading man. He's a leading man type guy.
Yeah, maybe
That's
Rocky
gay.
Cooper's his brother, and they're both getting married. It was an engagement party for Gary and Rocky Cooper. The invitation was for 8:00, so of course we showed up at 8:00. I guess that was our
Idiot.
vaudeville training. In vaudeville, if you didn't show up on time, somebody else sang your songs.
Wow.
They thought they
Someone
were
else does your
performing
set.
at
If you
the
don't show
party.
up, if you don't show up, someone else will do your set.
That happens at open mics too.
They do your joke.
They do your joke. Well, we arrived at 8:00 sharp, and as we drove through the gate, we were greeted by 5 little barking dogs. One of the parking attendants
Hollywood.
took our car. A butler let us in, and there we were, alone in this big living room that could hold at least 150 people. Again, they're like in a place that's too big for them. They're keeping everything's so daunting to them.
Yeah.
We both were served
They're
a
little
martini.
guys.
Yeah, they're just two little guys. We were both served a martini, and I sat there looking at Gracie, and she sat there looking at me. After about 15 minutes of this, I said to one of the butlers, "Where's the host?" He answered, "Oh, he asked me to wake him at 8:30.
Power move. Be asleep when your guests get there.
Yes. 10 minutes later, Gracie, who never drank, started to feel the effect of that martini. She left
She's
me.
so little.
Yeah.
She went into the powder room, put all the towels on the floor, and lay down and went to sleep.
Crazy. She's
Put
wild.
all the towels on the floor.
Now I was really alone.
For off of one martini.
Yeah, off one martini. She's in the powder room.
That's
She's sleeping
hilarious.
On the floor. Now I'm really alone, so I went outside and barked harmony with the dogs.
He just left her there on the floor in the bathroom.
Eventually, the guests arrived, and we had a fine time. Driving home that night, Gracie asked me, "Did you make any new friends?"
While I was passed out.
Yeah, I said. I met a Cocker Spaniel with a great sense of humor.
Yes.
But that experience did teach us an important lesson about Hollywood parties. Don't arrive on time. The bigger the star, the later he gets there. In fact, we went to one party where Clark Gable was so late, he never even showed up.
That's as late as you can get. Wow. These
He
guys
never even showed up.
These guys really know Hollywood.
Oh, he's an old Hollywood guy.
He's Mr. Hollywood, yeah.
One thing about Hollywood.
He's on like the Tonight Show much.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Doing stand up.
Doing this.
I mean, he's like on the couch, yeah. He's a
He's
couch
on
guy.
couch.
He does stand up with his wife.
Oh, that's awesome. I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to do stand up
with
with
your
my
wife.
wife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that seems cool.
I don't think you'll be able to do that in your current setup.
Because I'm not married.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a little hiccup.
Work on the act now. Work on getting married later. Right?
They don't make married couple comedians anymore who perform together. The only people I can think of are Masha Kesher
and
Natasha Leggero.
Yeah.
They did a honeymoon special. I didn't see it, but I think they
Yeah.
performed together at the end.
Cool.
But I can't think of anyone else who does that.
Yeah, and they're one of those
No
couples
idea.
where it's like you hear them talk about each other and you're like, I think you guys hate each other.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys actually like hanging out?
each other.
Yeah, they're always roasting each other's
Yeah,
ass.
like what's
Yeah.
going on, man?
They're never telling stories like these, like from
Yeah.
George Burns.
Yeah, he'd probably let her sleep on some towels in the bathroom, though. He probably wouldn't.
Stop
Do
him.
you think that was the right move?
I mean, I wouldn't.
I mean, I don't even. I bet in the story he finds her in real life and gets her. You know, but in the in the story
Yeah.
you cut that out.
Yeah,
You just cut that. That's some fat that you trim
Yeah.
away from the story.
Because I would leave the party. If my wife was asleep on the bathroom, I would wake her up. I'd say, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Well, Clark Gable.
I bet he
so-
kind of did. I bet he pretty much did that.
What if Clark
Except-
Gable's going to show up later? The host wakes up in 30 minutes. That's not bad. 30 minutes alone with the dogs is not bad.
Yeah. Also, his wife, she needs to learn how to hang, I would say.
Yeah, her anxiety is too.
Well, it's
She's
also
sleeping
like,
in the
why did
bathroom,
she?
like,
Yeah, I guess
you
because
can't
she's
bring her
nervous.
around.
I need
Yeah,
more
it could
motivation
be.
on why she drank because she never drinks. From what I
If she's
hear.
an
Right,
entertainment,
right.
she needs to either hold her liquor or go
or
sober.
just never drink. Yeah, like you usually never drink.
Okay, 42. Remember John P. Medbury?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
The writer who started two of my earlier stories?
Yeah,
Oh.
we did read those.
Okay.
I remember,
Yeah.
but his
I'll
name
pick
is
it up.
funny just
Yeah.
in general.
Well, he gave the craziest party Gracie and I ever attended.
Wow.
I see a theme. Maybe it was that way because he gave it in honor of Olsen and Johnson, the screwiest of screwball comedy teams.
They're the
guys.
screwiest of screwballs.
Yeah.
Couple
The
screwballs.
screwiest
Say
of
about-
screwballs.
You. All right. Medbury lived in a big house in the Hollywood Hills, And when you arrived, you parked your car.
It cost a dime.
Yeah. When you arrived, you parked your car and walked about 100 yards up a roadway to the house.
Well, like La La Land.
That's 300. That's a lot of, yeah.
Well, this night, when we arrived, there were no attendants to take your cars. But instead, there were 4 donkeys tied to a tree. So after we parked the car...
Screwballs.
These guys are screwy.
The screwball party is so
These are the screwiest screwballs who have ever screwed.
This is wacky. So after we parked the car, we carefully stepped around the donkey and headed for the house. At the entrance to the roadway, we had to go through a tent. Inside, there was a man sitting on a toilet reading a newspaper.
This is a good party.
I've been to this kind of thing in Zane's house.
Yeah, this is in West Campus. Without even looking up, he said, "Keep walking, you're headed in the right direction." A little farther on, there was a man sitting in a big tree with a rifle.
Cool.
As we passed by, he yelled, "This is private property. Don't pick any of the oranges." By the time we recovered from this, we were passing the garage. The door was open and the interior had been converted into a gaudy bedroom. Over the door...
They put a bedroom in the garage?
They put a bedroom in the garage.
Yeah.
These guys are nuts.
They're nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Over the door was a red light, and beneath it stood a sexy girl soliciting business.
What?
In 10 yards, we had gone from private to public property.
What does Gracie think about this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
What are Gracie's thoughts?
She's going to need more than one martini. Finally, we reached the house, and there to greet us was John
P.
Medbury.
Yeah.
And a charming lady whom he introduced as his wife. As I passed her, she gave me a friendly little goose.
A goose?
Yeah.
Does that mean like she touched his butt or something?
Yeah.
Can we look it
A
up in the
tickle?
dictionary? Is there a word
Yeah,
for
I
it?
mean, I
And
think it just
remember,
means you touch
this
it.
was in the
Yeah.
1930s when this gesture wasn't socially acceptable.
Goosey?
Yeah.
And kids, this is before we had all this goosing that we would do.
Are you gonna look up
I'm
the
I'm
verb
look-
goose?
I'm
It's
gonna
gotta be a
see.
little tickle on the belly. That's the only thing I can think
I
of.
think it's you touch their butt.
Their butt, their belly. It's something
Goosing
like that.
them up
Wow.
their butt.
It sounds like she definitely sexually harassed her.
Yeah, it's definitely not okay in the 2020. It's not
In
going to
the
be okay in the
1930s.
2030s.
Yeah, this
either.
is in the 1920s. This is the 1930s.
Yeah, exactly.
These are a little more progressive.
Goosing.
Goose. Gonad.
Maybe she gave him an actual goose.
What do you have? Yeah, I don't know. What else
It wasn't
do.
appropriate to give someone a live.
Maybe it's like a wet
Animal
willy.
goose.
To poke between the buttocks in an upward thrust.
Wait, between the buttocks in an upward
And this is
thrust?
what I thought this, and I was like, that can't be. I think it's like trying to get up their butt.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's funny.
Because
That's
I
a
think you
classic
do that
funny
to
thing.
gooses or
Wow.
something.
Oh.
She
Like
sounds
to get
like
them
a wild woman.
crazy.
Yeah, that's funny.
To do this to
Yeah.
a man she doesn't know
She
in
not-
front of both
Because
of her
also, this is
partners.
the number 2. This is the number 2
You show
amount.
up to a party and then your friend's girlfriend nut checks you.
Yeah, pretty much. She goes for your
Or she
butthole.
gooses you.
Yeah, exactly. It's equally as weird.
Because
Yeah.
also, so the second one is because you've heard they'll say, you're goosing the, so to increase the activity, speed, power, intensity, or amount of, spur on.
Okay.
So you're goosing the numbers,
Yeah.
which is like increase, But I think it's like if you stick your
Yeah,
finger up a
she was-
goose's butt, they start laying a bunch of eggs or something.
She
or-
assaulted
Line
him.
up the muscles
Yeah.
from the butt.
I
or
think
whatever.
there's a literal goose that, like, as a farmer, they stick the finger in the butt.
And then it makes
Yeah.
the egg come out.
It makes it,
Yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
it gooses it.
Well,
Okay,
he was
okay.
trying to get his eggs to come out.
yeah.
As soon as we walked inside, the butler came up to me and asked if he could borrow my matches. He said he had some candles to light, so I gave them to him. Later on, I found out that he had done this to everyone.
This party's crazy. Everyone is so fucked up at this party.
John P. Medbury's.
There were 200 guests without matches. At first, this didn't seem to be a problem because there were plenty of matches lying around. However, they were trick matches. The minute you light them, they'd go out. Wherever you looked, there was somebody trying to light a cigarette. This was one of the things I couldn't figure out. The girl under the red light, that I understood.
It's a party.
It's a party.
Here are a few more highlights of the evening. The party took place in July, but there was a fully decorated Christmas tree with presents underneath it in the living room.
What the fuck?
And there was a big fat Santa Claus sitting there with a cane. Every time somebody would try to pick up a present, Santa would say, "Ho, ho, ho," and whack him with the cane.
A lot of the party is just different people assaulting the party.
Yeah, it's like he's hired a bunch of people
The 30s.
to scare everyone.
So cool to have a bunch of scary people at the party who you
It's a
hire.
haunted house.
To have a gun.
The butler's pranking everyone. There's a man with a gun out front who tells you not to pick off the oranges or he'll shoot you.
They're screwballs.
They're real screwballs.
Every half hour, a kid dressed like a bellboy would walk through the room calling out, "It is now 8 o'clock." It was always 8 o'clock, and it never got any later.
That's funny.
That's a good
Good
That's
bit.
a good bit.
You can steal that one.
Because that would bring a good energy to the party, I think.
Bellboys.
If
Is everyone going like,
it's
it's
8? I feel like it's been so long.
I've been here
This
so long.
sounds like live theater.
Sort of a performance art.
The interactive
Yeah.
theater.
Yeah. They go to that weird house in Girls. Where
Yes,
there's, like, a murder
exactly.
happening.
The Adam Driver
Yeah.
play. The ladies' powder room was bugged. And anything that was
Excuse me?
said in there could be heard over speakers placed throughout the house.
Very funny. Very funny
That's
move.
badass.
That's
so
so
good.
fucked up.
Everything I say in the bathroom is private.
What is
There's a
this?
Bluetooth
A
speaker.
date
We can hear
party?
everything.
We heard one lady say, "What a stupid party." When the hell do we eat?
Yeah.
Then Medbury's voice came over the speakers answering, "We'll eat when I'm damned good at that."
Medbury's crazy.
I don't know about this.
I never
Medbury
did
guy.
find out whether Medbury was in the ladies' room or with us. At about 10 o'clock at night,
It is cool to have a party at your house and you're like, I do have one bathroom for the guys and one for the girls.
yeah,
And
and the girls
no one-
is being recorded.
Yeah,
And
the girls are
the girls are being recorded, and no one knows where I am.
No one knows if I'm
just
there or
heard
not.
over a speaker
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
party.
At about 10 o'clock at night, Medbury introduced a Russian man dressed in full diplomatic attire, complete with a red sash and wearing more medals than Georgie Jessel.
Georgie Jessel? Dang.
Who's Georgie
We
Jessel?
don't know. No one
no one
knows.
knows.
No one alive knows that.
He got up and spoke for 15 minutes in Russian and left.
Dang.
Finally, at 11 o'clock, they served a beautiful and elegant sit-down dinner. About an hour and a half later, a 12-piece orchestra came in. They put up their music stands, took out their music, and tuned up their instruments.
They just tuned though, and then they left.
Maybe.
That's my
After
guess.
after a few
Yeah,
minutes
that's
of
pretty
this,
funny.
the leader
So-
raised his baton and the orchestra played a loud fanfare. With
Oh,
that,
dang.
Medbury stood up and proclaimed, "Ladies and gentlemen, the party's over." The musicians packed up their gear and left, and so did the guests. When Gracie and I went through the tent, the guy was still there, only now he was reading the morning paper.
Whoa.
Sounds like every improv party.
Yeah.
This
Like,
is
did
just
you
the
notice that
yeah.
He was actually reading the morning.
Well, that's the thing. Vaudeville's still, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I would get it maybe annoyed at
It'd
this party.
be cool to hear George Burns go to like a frat party or just a co-op party.
They're probably crazier.
And we went through all their rooms, every single one of them.
And they had beer cans everywhere.
Yeah, I thought the musicians were gonna be like, remember when Nathan Fielder went on tour with Mac DeMarco and he just stood there with a guitar texting on his phone the whole show.
Oh, that's good.
John P. Medbury is kind of a Nathan Fielder.
Yeah. He seems like it. He's giving me real Eric Andre energy.
Yeah,
He's got a lot of these
do you like
hired
Nathan
actors.
Fielder? And I'm like, actually, I'm more of a John P. Medbury
Yeah.
guy.
Wow. It sounds like they went to a lot of crazy parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about partying.
We didn't
Hollywood's about.
find out what his wife thought of that.
Yeah, she wasn't mentioned except once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was just taking it all in.
She was chilling, yeah.
Soaking it all
She was
up.
not drinking.
Yeah.
Hopefully. She's probably passed out in the bathroom the whole time.
No, she never drinks.
She's very rare.
Except for that one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do the other book now.
George Burns.
But yeah, he's having a good time.
It's awesome.
100 years, 100 stories.
I wish we were old Hollywood actors.
Yeah, it was the thing where it's you hear I hear stories and I'm like, I guess that's the 40s, and then he's like, it's the 30s, and you're like, oh damn,
Old Hollywood.
damn.
Yeah, probably a lot of guys have snakes were in Hollywood.
What do you mean?
Like, I just like old actors. They're like, I got a big python. I feel like,
So,
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they
like they would have something like
they
or
had
like a lion or something.
I think they still have some crazy animals, but I feel like it was just easier to get them back then.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Well,
the
they
internet
kinda like-
probably really helped, but
Yeah,
there's less laws.
but they have less
Yeah.
laws about
He's
animals.
like, I have a
like,
chimp, or
being-
Audrey Hepburn had like a deer.
And the circus
yeah,
is bigger.
she did have a pet deer.
That's the main one I know.
Yeah,
That's
she'd
pretty
carry.
cool.
But she's later.
I'm surprised
She's like
Ariana
30
Grande
years after this.
isn't walking around
Hasn't
with
got
a
the
deer.
yet, yeah.
She's trying to look like Audrey for the new biopic. She's trying
Oh.
to.
She's doing the Audrey
She's
Hepburn
auditioning
biopic.
for it.
She told you that?
She texted me.
Dang.
No, there's
Isn't
but
she?
every actress is trying to look like Audrey Hepburn now because they're
Right.
people are saying that's why Emma Stone cut her hair too.
Oh.
No one told us.
Well, I want Lily Collins to be her.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, doesn't she? Yeah, I mean, I want. Isn't Ariana Grande Mexican or something?
No, she's not. She's
Okay.
over that phase now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
She's no longer lying about being Mexican. She
Okay.
was for a while.
That's her name is Grande.
Grande.
She's Italian.
Oh.
She, yeah, no, she's been a few
Well,
different races.
Audrey
Different
Hepburn
races,
doesn't
yeah.
have olive skin, no matter what.
Well, she stopped tanning.
Exactly. Okay, it's still there. That olive is still there.
It's not a natural olive.
Her skin is green.
She's a pale woman.
I don't think so.
She's in-
No, she is. I've seen pictures.
Right. I don't know, but you think it's in a way that looks like Audrey Hepburn's skin?
I don't think she looks like Audrey Hepburn, but I think she has the money to
Make
like
herself look like Audrey
cosplay
Hepburn.
as
I
Audrey.
think so. I mean,
She just shaped her eyebrows like her and got.
I think we could get anybody else.
Let's get Lily. Let's get Lily in
I
there.
think her eyes are small too.
Anne Hathaway could play her.
Yeah. Doesn't she have? Yeah. I guess the color of your eyes doesn't matter in a biopic, does it?
Not really. You can
It
put,
should.
you can put contacts in. I mean, people.
But you can tell when people have contacts in, right?
Yeah, but I mean, hey, what's her name
I can't.
from
Yeah, I guess you can.
I don't really know if either of you have contacts in right now.
Well, we don't.
Yeah.
That's why you would know, because it would look weird.
Yeah.
Did you ever know anybody with blue contacts?
Yeah.
Oh, with colored contacts?
Yeah.
No.
I think in middle school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was like the most obvious shit I've ever seen. You were just like, okay.
Yeah. I think doesn't Timothy Chalamet have them in Dune?
Yeah, for sure, and they do look weird. But I think it's also because
He has
he has
sci-fi
powers,
eyes.
though.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has powers, so they,
Yeah.
they
He has
become
like the
bluer
shine gun eye.
whenever he inhales the sand.
Spice.
But Audrey
Spice.
Hepburn has brown eyes.
That's what I thought.
I think so.
Okay.
But I don't know because she's always in black and white pictures.
Right.
But no, they're dark eyes.
Yeah. But doesn't Emma Stone have blue eyes? That was what I was thinking.
Yeah, she does, but she played an Asian in that one movie. So.
Yeah, but she was an Asian with blue eyes, though. I've seen that movie twice.
Yeah, it's good.
No, it was one of the worst movies
Why
I've
do you
ever
watch
seen.
it twice?
It's really funny. Yeah. Bill Murray shows up halfway through and is just really chill. And you're just like, I like this Bill Murray character.
Yeah. Remember when Zoe Saldana did blackface to play Nina Simone?
No.
Well,
Whoa.
she did.
I don't...
Is that a biopic? That's another I don't
Yeah.
know all the biopics.
People got very upset about it. And she wore prosthetic nose.
What year
Isn't
was
she not... Is she a white person?
No, she's a light-skinned black person, and she put on...
She darkened
And
up.
Nina Simone's a dark-skinned
Right,
black
yeah.
woman.
And
So-
they don't like it when people do that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, she made her skin a lot darker for it,
Right.
and people hated it.
I guess.
Yeah.
Has there been a Ravi Shankar biopic?
No.
That would be good.
Who's that guy?
He's like an Indian guy.
He's
from
friends with the
80s.
Beatles.
He's
the father of Nora Jones.
I love Nora Jones.
There
You didn't know
go.
that her father's the most famous Indian musician.
You didn't know
ever.
I
You
I
didn't know
knew
Nora
that,
Jones.
but I didn't know his name or
Okay.
about him.
But you knew she was Indian.
Yeah, I did that.
Okay.
I did know that.
That's the big reveal to a lot of people.
I knew that.
Cool.
Yeah.
But-
Jones
Did you
is
know
a
Charlie
Jewish
XCX is Indian?
No, I hadn't heard that.
What?
Charlie XCX.
I thought she was just British.
She's
She's
ha-
British Indian?
she's half
Oh,
Indian.
She's half Indian, half British.
Wow.
British Indian.
British
My
Indian.
uncle's African.
Whoa. Okay. Now we're talking.
He's just a white guy from Africa.
Yeah. You told me about him before.
Yeah.
Cool.
Might be in there. Any other races we want to disclose?
Charlie X being Indian is pretty crazy.
I'm
She
excited
should do
to tell you.
Bhangra stuff. She should do stuff where she samples.
She should talk
Indian
about it
stuff.
more.
No. It's pretty bad for her brand, I think. It's pretty
She's
much.
pretty quiet about it. She's a little too quiet.
But Indian brat stuff, yeah. There could be more stuff like that.
Who's the most famous British Indian person? Because aren't they...
I keep thinking of Pakistan.
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking of all
Reza
Pakistani people.
Ahmed, I'm thinking of the
Zayn?
Pakistani guy.
Well,
Zayn's
who's,
Pakistani.
That's what I thought. It's all Pakistani people.
Dove
We're
Patel.
really good. Yeah, I think he's British. Is Dev Patel British or
He's
American?
British for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was on Skins.
Skins, yeah. he was in
Right,
Skins.
yeah,
But I don't
yeah,
know if
he's
he's...
dead,
I think
yeah.
he's Indian. He was in it.
His
He
name's
was in
Patel.
Slumdog Billionaire.
Dev Patel's definitely Indian.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's probably one of
He's
them.
probably
yeah.
number
He's
one.
top-
He's
top
got an
guy.
That's
Oscar.
crazy because I feel
think.
like Reza Ahmed might be as big as Dev Patel.
Right.
And they're both.
He's Indian?
Who?
Riz Ahmed, the Pakistani.
Oh, yeah. So
What's
he's-
he in?
He's
Riz?
in Four Lions, some other movies.
Isn't he in...
Plays like a drummer in one movie.
Riz.
He works with Heems. He's in a rap group with Heems from Das Racist.
I've met Heems.
Wow.
You met Heems?
Yeah.
Whoa. At a big Hollywood party?
How intimately.
No. But wait. I've never told you my Heems story.
No.
It's not.
Well, are other members there? Or just
No,
Heems?
it's just Heems.
Whoa. Solo
And-
Heems show?
No, he came into the pizza shop I worked at during South by, and he was really drunk and he was mad because this club wouldn't let him in. And he was like, man, this bouncer wouldn't let me in. And he was like, I didn't want to be like an asshole and be like, that's racist, but like, come on now. But it
And
took
then
me
you were
a
like,
second.
you do need to pay for the pizza, though. And then he goes,
Yeah.
that's
It took me-
racist. Come on, man.
It took me a
Pizza
second to
Hut,
realize
Taco
what
Bell.
he, like, I didn't recognize him immediately.
I don't think I would recognize
And
him.
so, even though I listened to
Right, yeah,
music,
yeah,
I was a
of
big
course.
fan at the time. But
Yeah.
but I wasn't fully
He's far away on
processing.
the cover. He's far away.
Yeah.
So I just thought he was saying the bouncer was racist.
Right.
Like,
You
I
thought
thought...
it was just a rant.
And
Das
also,
racist.
Exactly,
They didn't
yeah.
let me in the club. I didn't want to say it. Das racist.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I thought he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
saying, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then it slowly dawned on me as he was walking. I was like, oh my god, that was Heems. Like, and I got really excited because I was a big fan at the time. So I tweeted.
What year is this?
This was like 2014.
Okay.
We're already
And
breaking up.
yeah.
Yeah,
But he was doing his
solo.
solo career, which
Nice.
I like some of his solo music.
This is before Sweatshop Boys, so this is right before him and Riz Ahmed teamed up.
I guess so. But I tweeted about him because I was just like, just sold Heems like a slice of pizza, like so excited or something like that.
I liked
My
doing
life
fake
is complete.
ones like that during South by. Like saying I saw famous people do stuff.
Maybe people thought I was like, but also, okay, I only had like 200 followers.
Right, yeah.
And I didn't tag him. But apparently he searches his name.
Nice.
So he found the tweet. He interacted with it. He was like, oh, yeah, that was a really...
Oh, yeah.
He said, right. He said, that was a really expensive slice. and so we had a brief interaction. I was like, oh, cool, awesome. So the next day...
He said it was an expensive slice.
Yeah.
He was complaining in the tweet after he walked in and complained about the club. He's just complaining more.
He's had a bad attitude.
He's
about the
complaining
trip.
more.
Yeah.
He's also off, like, trying to borrow my iPhone charger, like when I had seen him the night before. But then the next night I was going to work at the pizza shop, and I was kind of running because I was late to work, and I passed him in the street, and he saw me, and I was like,
Stop being out here, bro.
and he sees me, and he goes, "Oh, you?" And I was like, "Hey," and he like kind of follows me to my work. And walks in and he's like, "Hey, did I buy a pizza slice from you last night?" And I was like,
Searched his name on Twitter so quickly. He walked out the store and searched it. How did he find
Well, I
you?
think
And
for
the next
South
day-
by, you're like, I'm gonna try to get,
South
trying
by,
to,
South by
see what's going
Southwest.
on.
What's going on?
Yeah.
See if I'm building buzz.
It's a movement.
Yeah.
See what Buzz is building.
Yeah, and he was like, "Did you tweet?" He was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Did you tweet about me?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Whoa.
And he was like, "Okay, you can't be doing that because I can't have people knowing where I am."
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I was like, "I'm so sorry," and he's like, "It's fine, just don't
It's
let it
fine.
happen
I'm just
again."
gonna be at here, the one place that everybody
Yeah.
knows that I
Come
am. I'm
back
still gonna
to
be
that
here
spot.
in the area on the street, just hanging
I'm
out.
gonna
Yeah.
follow you to your work
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess he was just coming by to
to let you know.
tie
Just-
some loose ends. Yeah,
just to
yeah.
tell me,
He was
yeah.
gonna kill you.
Yeah.
He was about to kill you, I think.
In my head, I was
People
like,
know
"No one
how
even
much.
cares." But that's my Hebe story.
Wow. 100 years, 100 stories.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah. Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid. What's your Kool-Aid story?
Kool-Aid. Or the other one. Wait, is Kool-Aid the one who's Harry Kondabolu's brother?
No,
the
that's
other
a
one.
shock.
That's a show.
That's a joke, yeah.
I forget his rapper name.
I think it's just a joke, yeah.
It might just be one word.
No,
or
it's
something.
Dapwell.
Oh, yeah.
It's Dapwell?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I listened to his podcast that he did with Hurry.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it was great.
Cute.
Yeah, I used to not like Hari, but I've softened up on him because he's on the Bugle.
Yes, his stand-up's all right.
I don't like that.
It's okay.
I bet we get along
It's
personally.
okay.
Right.
That's how I felt like because I listened to his podcast and I was like, I'm not crazy about his stand-up, but he seems
Like,
really
he's
funny and
chill
smart
and
on this
fun.
podcast.
Yeah,
but he's just
we
talking with
love
his
you,
bro.
man. Yeah.
And he would do a live show with his brother,
Yeah,
the
I knew about that.
untitled
Of course.
Kondabolu Brothers
Of course.
show,
You got
and it was great.
We
I'm
love
so
all
glad
that.
you've heard of this.
to. I'm familiar. Yeah.
That was huge.
Yeah, I had a crush on his brother. He's really cute.
Wait, who? Hari? No,
Ashok.
Ashok, right.
Ashok.
Yeah.
Not on Hari. Right, yeah.
I remember when they broke up. I remember driving to school
The
and
brothers?
seeing it on Twitter.
When the brothers, the band.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that was
remember.
Just when they broke
I was
up.
upset.
I was like, what the
You
fuck?
Ought to Know is still one of my favorite songs.
You ought to know, right?
It really changed things.
Yeah.
So they sampled that. Was it Elton John?
You want to know? Oh, yeah,
Or-
yeah, that one.
Is it Elton John?
I get Elton John
Billy
confused
Joel.
with Billy
Billy
Joel. It was
Joel,
Billy
yeah.
Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, you want to do the other book?
Yeah, folklore.
We got the folklore book. Okay, this is a book I got at, what's it called? Recycled Reads, I think.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Is it going to be
that-
fantastical?
Did this inspire Taylor Swift?
No.
Folklore.
Right. This is folklore. Okay, so this is folklore from the working folk of America. So it's so each
okay.
section has a different job that it says it got it from. But some of the jobs, so it'll be like, hunter, pioneer farmer, government trapper, prospector, radio telegrapher, shepherder.
Steamboat captain.
Yeah,
from
steamboat captain. Yeah, stuff. But also some of them are just student, college
College
students.
students.
So
These are just tales.
yeah, some folk type
Painted
tales.
pizza shop worker.
But apparently this book was in the Dallas Public Library in 1973.
Wow.
So it's out. We got it out. So it's a little sensitive. It's a little... Be gentle.
That's
with the
cool.
book.
Probably smells great.
It smells okay. Okay, so this is the intro to the section called Superstitions, Practices, and Customs. Superstitions are based on conscious and unconscious assumptions that people make about the fundamental forces that control their world. Often the assumptions, and thus the superstitions, are unsound, but sound or unsound, they manage to persist at every level of society. In folklore in America, we defined a superstition as a belief that lies outside the formal religion of the person involved, aware to be sure that a superstition is often believed just as intently as any religious dogma. The ex-urbanite who scoffs at witchcraft, excluding it from his Protestant faith, may employ a dowser to find the right place to dig his well, embracing that magic just as enthusiastically as the mountain girl who throws a powder made of liverwort leaves on a prospective lover's clothing.
Oh, that's a little... So there's some fantastical stuff already going on. He's
Right.
talking about...
Everybody knows those sort of things.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, yeah, dowsing is made up, I guess. The power of superstition, whether handed down by the culture as a whole, the lucky four-leafed clover, or developed by individuals for themselves, the actress's insistence on wearing a certain necklace in each appearance on the stage, cannot be underestimated, nor can the power of the beliefs, practices, and customs that are associated with them. Some scholars make careful distinctions between the words belief, superstition, practice, and custom. One such determination runs as follows. When a superstition combines with a practice, a way of doing things, the result is a custom. For example, a group of people that believe that seeds have sexual powers that can be transferred to humans and vice versa. This belief was once part of farm-oriented pagan faiths, is now considered a superstition by many Western Europeans. When one throws rice at a bride or plants flax by bouncing it off his wife's buttocks, he is indulging in a practice.
Oh.
If this practice is observed traditionally and is associated even vaguely in the minds of the participants with the superstition of the sexuality of seeds, it has become a custom. That seems all stupid to care about the difference between those things. Such determinations are a product of scholarly cavilling, and are rarely observed in casual conversation by the scholars themselves. We will not split hairs over distinctions which are often impossible to make unless one is intimate with the person or community involved. Instead, we will simply lump together things and record a few of the many occupational beliefs that Americans hold and look at a few of the attitudes and habits resulting from those beliefs. Although there exists no definitive study of superstition and related matters, there is a good survey of the subject in Our Living Traditions by Wayland D. Hand, America's leading authority on superstitions. It is entitled The Fear of the Gods, Superstition and Popular Belief. A bibliography appears at the end of chapter 12. Okay. So, May Morning and Love Charms. Do you want to read this thing?
Sure.
Okay, be careful.
May mornings and love charms. The sparseness of population and the roughness of the country, Western North Carolina, prevent frequent gatherings for social enjoyment, and the result is seen in the scarcity of holiday customs and observances. The few which survive from earlier days are mainly love charms pertaining to May morning. If a young girl will pluck a white dogwood blossom and wear it in her bosom on May morning, the first man met wearing a white hat will have the Christian name of her future husband.
Fuck.
Wow, that's pretty intense. A lot of things have to line up for you.
Yeah, I don't have any white hats, but...
You got to start wearing them then, because if you come across a young
But then
girl
they're
with a
just
white
gonna
dogwood
marry someone with
blossom,
my name, though.
Oh yeah, it might not be you.
Yeah, that would suck.
That's just her future husband.
Burn.
Her handkerchief left. These are more super. Her handkerchief left out on the grass the previous eve will have his name written upon it in the morning.
What do you mean?
And from analogous beliefs in Ireland and elsewhere, it is presumable that the writing is done by a snail crawling over it.
Okay.
That's who does it.
I get it now. Yeah, I get it now.
If she will take a looking glass to the spring on May morning and turning her back to the spring, look into the mirror, she will see the figure of her lover rise out of the water behind her. A child may be cured of the thrush by holding it up on May morning so that a ray of light from a crack may enter its mouth.
Wait, from a crack?
Yeah.
Crack of what?
Just a crack. Crack of the sun. I don't know.
Scared.
This May morning is insane.
I don't know. Yeah, I think this is kind of like Midsommar. I haven't seen the movie, but
Right.
I think it's like this.
It is like this. The girls have a number of love charms in addition to those already mentioned. Most of them being practiced also in Europe on Hallow Eve, a celebration which appears to have dropped out from the mountain calendar. If an egg placed in front of the fire by a young woman be seen to sweat blood, it is a sign that she will succeed in winning the sweetheart she desires. Have you ever left out an egg in front of a fire to see if it sweats blood?
I think you could do that if there was a chicken inside it, maybe.
Oh, it's sweating blood.
That's so gross.
Every time in the month.
Everything, all these superstitions are so gross and scary.
Okay, yeah, it's like if something scary happens, you might be getting married.
By giving to a number of... Yeah, it's kind of like the I Ching kind of... It's just scary stuff. By giving to a number of mistletoe leaves the names of her several suitors and ranging them in line before the fire, she can test the affection of each sweetheart. He loves me not.
But wait, you have the mistletoe leaves.
The
you're
leaf
throwing them.
The leaf which the heat causes to pop over nearest to where she is standing will indicate which lover is most sincere in his professions, and in the same way will be shown the relative ardor of the others. If a girl will take out the yolk from a hard-boiled egg, fill the cavity with salt, then eat the egg and go to bed, her destined husband will appear in the night and offer her a drink.
Because you're going to be so thirsty.
More like indigestion's
You're
gonna
so
show up.
thirsty. Well, that's because you're,
Some
yeah.
heartburn's gonna show up.
Well, that's how the universe expresses love. So.
Exactly.
Heartburn.
Exactly.
Another way to eat is to eat a mixture of a thimbleful of meal and another of salt, and then being careful always to observe a strict silence, walk backwards to bed with the hands clasped behind the back, take off the clothing backwards, and get into bed.
Take off the clothing backwards.
The apparition of the
I don't
future
know how to
husband,
do that.
The apparition of the future husband will come as before, and will give her a drink of water.
Am I the only person that thinks that the apparitions of most of my lovers would look pretty similar? Like, how are you going to discern these apparitions from one another?
You just gotta have that eye for it.
Yeah, you're like, he had hair, he was wearing a cape, I don't...
Liverwort is known by the appropriate name of heart leaf, and the peculiar shape of its leaves has suggested their use as a love filter. A girl can infallibly win the love of any sweetheart she may desire by secretly throwing over his clothing some of the powder made by rubbing together a few heart leaves which have been dried before the fire.
We need some of this.
She may, if she wish...
We need this. Wait, can boys do it?
No, this is for girls.
Fuck! Come on!
Find your own
Please.
She may, if she wish, have a score of lovers by simply carrying the leaves in her bosom. It is to be presumed that the recipe would be equally efficacious if used by one of the opposite sex. Boys can do it.
Nice.
Boys can do it.
What a win.
But...
Wow.
Is that it?
That was it. That was the whole thing, yeah.
Wow.
Angelina, do you want to go?
This is really useful info.
Yeah, this is all stuff that we, this one's got like a poem in it or something, the next one.
Okay. Maybe letter. I collected the following folk item pertaining to the first day of May from a resident of Cedar Creek Community, Perry County, Tennessee.
Perry County.
Are you okay?
Perry County, Tennessee, who stated that formerly girls were supposed to receive a maybe day letter on the first day of May from boyfriends. She dictated from memory one of the letters she received around 1900.
Thanks.
Grapevine warp, pine top fillin'. Me and you'll marry if Pap and Mam's willin'. Maybe we will, maybe we won't, maybe we can't, maybe we'll have a home, maybe we won't, maybe we'll have children, maybe we won't, maybe I'll make a home, maybe I won't.
Don't look behind you, but there's an apparition of a future husband.
Oh. My informant could not remember more lines than those given above. I was told, however, that a quote-unquote maybe was a quote unquote, great long letter, all lines except the first ones beginning with maybe.
So
Okay.
you write a letter to a lady.
And you would
You're
say,
like-
maybe we'll
yeah,
work
so
out.
it's like very romantic, but every romantic thing is cut down.
Sounds
by
like,
saying maybe.
sounds like some fuckboy behavior, honestly.
Pretty much, yeah.
Sounds like mixed signals.
Right.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
children. It is for children.
Maybe.
The first day of May.
Yeah.
And it's May, so that's funny, you know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. You want me to read the next one?
Yeah, if you
go
want.
for it.
Yeah, go as many as you want.
Why the polar trembles?
Poplar.
Poplar.
Is this Poplar, right?
I
It
just
is
said read
Poplar.
it earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm
Just the title.
don't know how to read. Okay. Why the poplar trembles? I just never heard that word before.
It's
Poplar.
a tree. Poplar.
It's a tree?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Poplar tree.
My mind was
A
putting a word I
strange
knew in there.
fruit hanging from the poplar trees.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. what's
Breeze drifting on
that?
by.
Yeah, there you go. You know what I'm... Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is that rich for someone?
Billie Holiday.
Yeah.
It's in the Kanye song "Strange Fruit."
All right.
They would hang black people from poplar trees.
Yeah, I
Okay.
remember that.
Just to be,
That was good context.
Yeah.
Okay.
but I don't know if that's gonna come up. They're
Well,
strong.
we'll
They're
see.
strong trees.
Cool.
You could hang people from them.
Okay.
Whatever their race.
Near Marquette, Michigan, a mining superintendent, having occasion to lay out a road near a mine, suggested to the foreman, who, like his gang, was Irish,
Cool.
that the men should cut down some neighboring poplar trees for corduroy. The foreman said that not a man of them could be hired to chop down one of those trees, that the men would as soon think of cutting off their own hands. Don't you know, said he, that the Savior's cross was made of that tree? And added that you will never see a poplar tree perfectly still. The idea, apparently, is that the tree is perpetually agitated or trembling because of the terrible use made of it at Golgotha.
Wow, where Jesus was executed by the government.
Wow, I didn't. That's crazy.
I guess, yeah.
Well-
Those Irish guys. Sounds like the Irish guys just didn't want to do anything.
Yeah, no, but it's. I didn't know that about Jesus' cross.
I don't
made
know
out
if
of that
that's.
tree.
I mean, I think that's just a traditional belief. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know, but like, I didn't know that was the traditional belief.
Yeah.
And that's interesting how that,
Yeah.
like, if like the
seems like only
KKK was
Irish guys
choosing
got
those
it.
trees to.
No, so the other thing is that KKK people hate Irish people as well.
Oh.
So KKK
true.
people also are super anti-Catholic, which all Irish people that were in
Because
America
they're
are
very
pretty much
Protestant.
Catholic.
The
Yeah,
KKK
yeah.
super Protestant.
Yeah, they hate
But-
Italian people.
But maybe that belief
Oh, I knew
belief
that, yeah.
was
No Italians.
shared by Protestants and
could be. Yeah.
Catholics. I don't know.
You're done.
That's interesting.
Seventh inning. The Cincinnati Red Stockings in 1869 were the first professional team. Their manager, Harry Wright, a resident of Philadelphia, that summer wrote to a friend in a letter still preserved by the New York Public Library. The spectators here all arise between halves of the seventh, extend their legs and arms, and sometimes walk about.
Seventh inning stretch.
Exactly.
This is baseball.
In doing so, they enjoy the relief afforded by relaxation from a long posture on the hard benches. Tim Murnane, an early professional turned sports writer, investigated the custom after overhearing John Clarkson, almost my name, a noted Chicago pitcher, refer to the seventh inning as the lucky seventh. Anxious to track down the belief, he examined the scores of every game played by Chicago from 1876 to 1886 and discovered that more runs were scored in that inning than in any other. A moment's reflection will enable anyone to realize how the seventh inning stretch began. Harry Wright's theory that the stretch afforded relief by relaxation is all well and good, but why was the seventh inning selected? Almost certainly it was because sporting people have long associated good fortune with the number 7.
Right. This is where the
I guess. Yeah, that's the end of the story. So
interesting
just kind of like little overview.
little fun fact about the 7th inning stretch.
So this one's called Lincoln's 4-leaf clover. Do you know Abraham Lincoln?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which president was he?
16th?
I think it's 14.
I thought he was the 17th.
Dang.
Dang,
We'll never
we're all
know.
off.
No, look it up. I swear I'm
We'll never
right.
know. I bet it is 16 sounds right.
It probably is 16th.
16 sounds
But we'll
right.
probably
But I would
never
say
know.
14.
It'll come up.
I couldn't tell you the 14th.
Oh yeah, I know what it is now.
What is it?
Angelina was right.
Nice.
It's the 16th. Good job.
Wow.
It's one of the only things I know in this world.
An unusual bit of Lincolniana. I'd never seen that word. Like Lincolniana. Like Indiana.
Yeah,
Lincoln.
like
a
Lincoln
portmanteau of
knowledge.
Lincoln,
Yeah.
Indiana.
It came to the writer's attention while consulting an article on the ways of sportsmen, the tokens they cherish, and the mascots they carry with them into their contests. In this source, it is stated that a 4-leaf clover, once in the possession of Lincoln, came into the hands of the international tennis champion of the 1920s, William T. Tilden II.
Oh, he's good.
Nice. It was presented to him, as he states, by a friend on the day before he defeated Gerald Patterson at Wimbledon, and was carried by him into succeeding games. Thereafter, he never suffered defeat until he lost to the French player Lacoste.
Wow.
I didn't know that was a real guy.
I was wearing a Lacoste jacket last night.
Wow.
Wow.
After
Now you
this,
know. That's why it's tennis. That makes sense, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
After this, as it happened, the clover was either misplaced or lost, and only recovered the year before he won back the American title in 1929. Opportunity for verification of this clover as a Lincoln relic has not been forthcoming. Neither is the writer of this article aware whether the story has a wide currency or not. A Lincoln authority consulted stated that the matter was an odd coincidence, acknowledging interest in having had it brought to his attention. From such meager suggestions, it is inferred that the existence of a Lincoln clover has not broken through into the pages of the many writings about Lincoln. Because of present inability to verify this relic as an authentic one, it is clear that until more facts are brought to light, the story of this particular clover must be regarded as one more item in the ever-growing body of Lincoln lore. And then there's an ellipsis. Enthusiastic reference by the King of the Nets to possession in the first quarter of the 20th century of this mascot clover allows the inference that he regarded this relic as a potent factor in carrying him to victory. Just as certainly he ascribed defeat to loss of it. It should be emphasized here that our interest is not in the prowess of the former tennis champion or in his triumphs, but rather in the nature of his relationship with the clover of all clovers. And in the belief of a supernatural virtue emanating from it on account of having once belonged to President Lincoln, folk hero and martyr. So,
Wow.
do you think it was real?
The Lincoln clover?
It seems so fake.
Yeah. It seems like it would have perished by
But
then.
it is a cool thing that you could lie to, like,
It's a
child
40-year-old
about.
clover. I guess
The clover that ended the Civil War.
Yeah.
Right.
It had
Yeah,
to
how
be
long do clovers last?
that long? Or it's longer than 40 years, right? Because 65.
But I guess you put it in a little thing or something. It's in a little...
It's like
Preserve it.
65
A glass
to
thing.
1920. It's like 60 years.
Yeah.
You could press it,
Yeah, you can press it.
But then it's just flat.
but it still exists.
Well, where
does he have
Where
it
does
on
he
him
keep
when
it
he's
during
playing
the
tennis?
match?
Where does
During
he
the
have
game.
it right now?
When he's playing against Lacoste and
Yeah, he's playing
and
Lacoste.
Banana Republic. And all
He's
the
too
other
tall
J.
for
Crew.
tennis.
Mr. Gap.
He's too
Doc-
tall.
Yeah. Mr. J. Crew.
He can't play tennis with that big hat.
Photo.
Right. Yeah, Lincoln would have loved tennis.
Yeah.
If he
Is
knew
the
that.
alligator involved? Where was the Lacoste alligator come in?
Yeah, because that's kind of... He has a mascot as well.
Right.
Because they kept referring to the four-leaf clover as a mascot.
As a mascot of Lincoln's.
Okay, this is the last
That's his
stitch.
team.
The-
While on duty some years ago at the Naval Asylum in Philadelphia, where superannuated sailors... Do you want to look up superannuated?
It's super and annuated.
Yeah, super, and then ANNUATED. Superannuated.
Okay.
I think it means fucked up.
Do you want another soda?
Yeah, I was about to go get it. You want to get it?
I'll get it for you.
Wow. Talk about service.
Wow.
You want a cup with
Great
some
host.
ice?
No, I'm not fancy like that. I'm a simple man.
Okay, I'm in the super section. What is it again? Super
Annuated.
annuated.
A-N-N.
Super A. It'll
Still
be at
no
the
water?
beginning. Found it.
That's the rule.
Super annuate.
So if you pee,
I'll start
don't
with
flush,
superannuate.
right?
You can flush because that's a.
There's one flush in the chamber, but then after that,
Oh
it
yeah,
won't
it's
fill
not
up.
gonna refill.
It probably will because it's like a manual kind of thing.
But the tank won't refill.
To make,
But it's.
declare, or prove obsolete or
If
out
there's
of
no
date.
water
I
pressure.
don't know.
To prove obsolete.
Yeah, or out of date. Superannuate. To make, declare, or prove obsolete or out of date. To retire. And
So they're
pension
retired,
because of
guys.
age or infirmity.
Pensioned. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty
Okay.
much.
Where superannuated sailors of the Navy are maintained, one of the beneficiaries told me that in his youth he had been on board a ship during an epidemic of cholera. Many died, and he himself was taken ill and died. What?
Aw.
He
Wait.
himself was taken ill and
He
died.
told you the story.
At least he was supposed by the intendants to be dead, and the first lieutenant, happening just then to come into the sick bay or hospital, gave orders that he should be sewed up in his hammock for instant burial at sea. For on board the ship, especially in time of epidemic, little ceremony can be observed.
True.
This
Sewed
is
up
so
in a-
much like
sewed up
Star
in a
Trek.
hammock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in sick bay.
Everyone else.
They're in sick bay, and there's an
yeah.
epidemic
There's
happening.
an epidemic happening.
This is a great
all like Star
episode.
Trek,
Yeah. Herein he erred. It may be remarked, for technically speaking, the certificate of the surgeon is required before the man is legally deceased. But of course, there was no delay in executing the order, and the man was sewed up in his hammock accordingly. Luckily for him, the sailmaker's mate who performed this office was well aware of the necessity for taking the last stitch through the tip of the patient's nose.
Whoa.
Without this precaution, the body would not stay down. However weighted with shot, but would shake off the trammels of its sailor shroud and reappear as a ghost to its former shipmates. I guess. Okay. The last stitch was then faithfully taken, and the supposed dead man revived and exasperated by this unreasonable liberty with his nose. Expostulated in such terms as I could not report, but which had the desired effect of reinstating him in the list of the living. So he said, fuck. They stuck the pin in his nose, and he said, fuck.
Whoa.
And he woke up, and he didn't die,
Oh my god.
Wow.
and he was safe.
Wow.
So that's the superstition, the pin in the nose.
That's what the last stitch is.
Right.
Is you have to do a stitch through their nose
Well,
to make sure they don't die.
Wow. I wonder if we should do that now.
if one of us gets COVID,
Yeah.
yeah.
Stitch to the nose, just to make sure
Good to know.
that we're really dead.
Yeah.
And also so we don't float up in the sea.
Being stitched
Yeah.
into the hammock, I don't know what that meant, but it sounded comfortable. When they
Well, I mean,
said
it's
it.
like a coffin for burial at sea. Do you know a hammock?
A hammock. I only know a hammock between two palm trees.
Right, but they sleep in them in ships.
Oh, right, of course.
Because
I
that's
saw
why
that.
the's one
Yeah.
in a
Like a little burrito.
Sailors sail
Because
there.
sailors sailed there.
Yeah.
That's why it's between the two palm trees. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't think about how they slept in ships.
Yeah. That would
And
be
I
my
guess I'm
nightmare.
realizing now they're like, if someone dies, they're like, we don't even want that hammock. They're like, get that hammock
The
out of
hammock, and
here.
they get rid of,
Get
it
rid of
with
that
them.
hammock.
Yeah.
Also, wouldn't that be scary if you go to sleep in a hammock, you wake up, the hammock's sewed up?
Right, right.
Yeah.
It's closed, so the smell doesn't get out. So you're like, it's
I mean,
like
I
being
think it's
buried
still
alive
net.
or whatever.
Yeah. It's kind of like being in a coffin.
Well,
Yeah.
some of them, there's different kinds of hammocks. Some are less porous than others.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't really, they don't go into it. This one's called Please Give Me a Bow.
Please give me a bow.
The latest fad among school children of this city of San Francisco, circa 1890, is to ask people they meet for a bow of the head. After school hours, hundreds of youngsters, both boys and girls, can be seen passing along the streets on their way home with paper and pencil in hand. They accost everyone they meet and say, "Please, give me a bow." If the question is not understood, they sometimes say, "Bob your head," or "Duck your nut." Hey,
duck your nut.
hey, mister, duck your nut.
Hey, mister, please duck your nut.
Duck your nut.
It's for school.
Please,
duck your nut for me.
please. When the bow is given, as it generally is, wonderingly, the youngster marks one stroke on the paper. When 100 marks representing 100 bows are obtained, the children bury the paper when no one is looking.
This is a classic game. We used to do this.
And at the same time, make a wish.
Yeah.
At the end of 4 days, the paper is unearthed, and then they say the wish always comes true.
Wow! If you're on the school bus, and you get the guy to honk his horn in the truck. If you get 100 of those, we write them down, we bury them, and our wish comes true.
Don't tell anyone.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's huge.
Have you done that? Have you got? We should get some bows. We need
some
100
bows.
bows.
100 bows.
They could lie about
I
the
feel like
bows.
if I wasn't a little kid, no one would bow for me though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you went up to a guy and said, "Duck your
Bow.
nut."
Yeah.
You wouldn't duck
Give me a
his nut.
bow. You know,
Pop your head.
bob your head, duck your
Hey,
nut.
up your-
And
Just duck your nut.
maybe you say all of them all together.
Yeah.
Maybe if you had a gun.
Yeah. I think that might affect the wish.
Yeah.
That might
Affect
do
the
something
wish.
to the wish.
It'd probably be a genie situation. You'd probably get the wish come true, but not how you want it.
Yeah.
Tricks on greenhorns. There used to be a trick on greenhorns.
Do you know what a greenhorn is?
Like someone who's new at something.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you know that, Zane?
No, I'm green.
I
I'm a greenhorn. I don't know that kind of thing. They don't tell you that kind of thing.
We should have asked Zane. We could have embarrassed Zane.
No,
we could have dunked on Zane.
Thank God you asked her. There used to be a trick on greenhorns. You guys are about to pull this trick on me. I'm about to read this and the trick is about to happen to me at the exact same time. There used to be a trick on greenhorns. Send them up to the headin and explain
The
it.
headin?
Yep.
How do you spell that?
H-E-A-I or H-E-A-D-I-N apostrophe. Hedon. Hedon?
There's an apostrophe?
Yeah, it's head. It's like that. And then explain. It says explaining like that too. There used to be a trick on greenhorns. Send them up to the headin and explaining that in the front of the maybe this is spoken with like a certain twang.
Sure.
Send them up to the headin and explaining that in the front of the shield they can see the fish swimming in the water. Of course, it's foolish because the shield is about 20 feet under the bed of the river.
Right. We get it.
A
As
lock-
steamboat captains, we get it.
Okay. A lock is a big iron door weighing possibly 1,000 pounds. It can be closed only with air pressure. It is known as a lock. What we do whenever we get a greenhorn down into the headin, is that a part of the ship probably?
These are all, yeah. Now it's pretty safe to assume all the words we don't know are ship
Our
words.
ship parts.
Yeah.
Down in the headin. You ask him to go up and ask the lock tender for the key to open
The
the
lock tender?
Of course, there's no such thing.
Shit.
He gets sent around from place to place, kind of a wild goose chase.
Yeah,
So this
we call it-
particular fellow goes looking for this key.
Turn signal fluid or
This is all actual facts. Now we do have a plate of iron in the tunnel that builds into that ring that we call the key, weighing about 700 pounds. So what does this guy do but have to put on a flat car and have it brought all the way down to the head?
He's got a flat,
So
a flat car.
So he turns the joke on the other fellows because they have to make it their business to get rid of it. They had to turn it around, get it lifted up with the machine, and moved out of the way.
Sucks.
What?
So the trick is they make this
That's
guy
the
do
end?
a bunch of shit.
That's
Yeah,
the end.
whole
All right,
thing.
we can just move on.
To
Yeah,
try
they're
for a
tricking
wish.
him.
This is some boat
Yeah.
trick.
It's not a good
This would be
trick.
good if
Sailor
it'd be really
tricks
funny
or
if we
whatever.
knew this boat.
Yeah.
Right.
If
This
you-
type
for
of
a
boat.
wish.
If you had been on this boat.
While
type of
while I
boat,
had
yeah.
not while I had not the pleasure of personal
Oh, I thought you said
acquaintance,
it was over.
while it's over. This is a different one.
Oh,
While
what's
this
it
is the
called?
next to try for a witch.
Okay.
While I had not the pleasure or personal acquaintance with a witch or warlock, the promise is mine of introduction to two in good and regular standing. One, a dweller in the Fox Hills, Maryland, 1899, is the proud possessor of a book which nobody can read, but it is chiefly as the nephew of his uncle that he is known to fame. This uncle of fearsome memory, among many advantages he possessed over the common run of people, was entire independence of police protection or burglar alarms. Never turned a key in his house, his barn, or his corn crib.
Just magic. He's
For
magic.
if any person came on his premises with evil intentions, they were held there foot fast until morning, or such time as he was pleased to release them. Men have been found standing under his apple trees with open but empty sacks, begging to be freed and sent away.
Whoa.
The
He has
other
magnets
This is that's one of the mages or the warlocks
of Maryland.
of Maryland. Yeah.
Lord Baltimore's warlock.
The other notable, whom I hope to meet next summer, that's cool, lives on the edge of the Owl Swamp, also Maryland. He was
Dang.
characterized as about the best man we have left in that line. But it is comfort to know that if a witch hath power to charm, there be those who can unlock the clasping charm and thaw the spell. And this power does not reside in professionals only. Anybody, in fact, who knows how can try for a witch. Of course, some people having a natural gift that way are more successful than others. They are possibly more ingenious in devising punishments. But certain conditions must be observed in everybody in all cases. Most important is the time for the trial. This must be within 9 days after the spell has been detected. Persons of small invention had better confine themselves to old, reliable methods.
This
like
is how
the
we catch the
following.
witch.
Okay, I'm getting
Were
it.
those guys that live there, are they going to catch the witch too?
I don't know.
They told us how to... Why would they tell us how to catch the witch?
You mean at the Owl Swamp?
Yeah.
The guy at the edge of the
Is
Owl
or is
Swamp?
that guy catch witches or he is a witch?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
It's
well,
really
just,
hard
that's
to
just
tell,
what
but
I'm thinking.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
just,
figure it out.
yeah.
Anyway, so persons of small invention had better confine themselves to old, reliable methods like the following.
Yeah.
If the cow's milk isn't good, throw the milking into the fire, or heat stones and drop them into the milk, or cut and slash the milk with knives. If this does not bring the witch to terms, she will be obliged to suffer severe pains, as from cutting or bruising.
What?
Okay, so you gotta, if the cow's milk isn't good, you gotta cut it with knives, and this will fuck the witch up, I guess.
Yeah.
Some sort of, it's kind
But
of like
you also throw it in the
voodoo-
fire or you drop hot stones.
Sort of a voodoo
So the
thing.
milk, if you hurt the milk will hurt the witch.
But it's only if the cow's milk isn't good.
Right. Well, that's because the witch.
If your baking fail, oh, you think the witch is cursing the cow's milk or something?
That's what they're saying.
Okay. If your baking fail, burn a loaf. The witch will come to you seeking to borrow. Give her nothing at all, bite, sup, nor greeting.
Bites up.
Bite, sup, no greeting. Sup. I think is that supper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so
Four.
No, it's like sup.
Sup.
Hey,
going over to
that's
his
the
place.
greeting. Actually, sup is a greeting.
Yo, sup.
come over.
Dude,
come over
you
for
do
sub.
not say
Nothing
sup
at
to
all.
the witch.
Give me
Did you
nothing
say
at
sup
all.
to the witch?
Do not bite her, do not say sup, no bite, sup, nor greeting. For if she obtain anything from you, even a word, no counter charm of yours will avail to lift the spell.
Shit.
I happened to be present when an old lady who had been away visiting was asked for news of friends down the country. Oh, she said, I didn't get to see them. I was on my way to their house when someone told that their cow had died, and they were trying for the witch. Of course, I didn't go then. And that's how it ends.
Okay. So, here's what they're saying.
Okay.
It's like, I
Break it
guess
down.
if something's weird with the cow, they're like, it's got to be a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is how you
And then
deal
how
with
you
that.
get back
Yeah.
at her.
I guess.
Well.
Oh, what do I look like? Cutting milk with a knife?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's got to be some bad milk.
Milk in the fire?
Yeah.
Sour milk in the fire?
Yeah.
That's gonna smell disgusting.
It's got to smell bad, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do one more, and then I think you should do the next. The one after.
Yeah, it
this
sounds
one
like they
is
just don't
called-
have a refrigerator.
Yeah.
Right,
And
right.
that's why the milk's going funky.
They're like, nah, we got to kill this witch.
This one's called "To Lay a Dog."
Interesting.
The year 1899.
Do you have to goose the?
You might have to goose the dog.
I think you have to goose the
The year
dog,
1899, though a good apple year, was. Though it was a good apple
You
year.
can't deny that.
It was,
We all
can't deny
remember
that.
1899
It
as
was,
a good apple.
though it was a good apple year, it was an off one for peaches.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I
But some
remember.
friends of mine contrived to get a taste, at least, which was more than the most of us had. Coming home late one night, these young men passed a place where the only peaches in the neighborhood were said to be. They all felt for the peaches, as their particular idiom has it.
What?
Oh, they all felt for the peaches. Everyone knows that peculiar idiom. And the coincidence of opportunity with the capacity struck them all. But the owner of the peaches was likewise the owner of a savage dog that, howling as he prowled, seemed to realize that eternal vigilance was the price of peaches. But one of the party bethought him how to lay the dog. Oh, so they're about to fuck this dog up so he can get the peaches.
The savage dog.
Yeah. He took his pocket knife and drove the blade into a stake of the stake and rider fence, saying 3 times, "Dog, keep your mouth shut until I release you."
I thought he was going to stab the
I
dog.
know, me too.
I think he did in real life. This is the story.
The story is he
told.
put it in the fence and said, "Dog, keep your mouth shut until I release you." In the language of an eyewitness, that dog nearly tore his toenails off getting to the back of the house. And there he stayed, with never a word out of him, until we had all the peaches we wanted. Of course, we only took a few to eat. As Jake pulled the knife out, the dog...
Jake?
That's the guy, one of his... He never said that earlier. He's now chosen to name one of the young men who was in the story Jake. As Jake pulled the knife out, it was really uncharacteristic of how he was writing, too. As Jake pulled the knife out, the dog flew around the house again, raging like mad, and we made good time down the road. These young men had no thought of stealing. A few to eat, custom allowed them, for they, like the rest of this community, are self-respecting, substantial farmer folk.
Sounds like they did steal, and they killed a dog to do it.
Yeah, I mean, they probably... Well, they put the knife in the fence, and then they said, "Dog, stay away,
They did
stay away."
magic.
They did it 3... If they say something 3 times, it usually works. So,
To lay a dog.
to lay a dog.
Yeah, they killed it.
They laid it.
Yeah, they laid it.
Probably ate it too.
They were eating the peaches.
They got the peaches.
They
found
were
it.
reenacting the peculiar idiom.
That peculiar
The
idiom.
feeling for the peaches.
Feeling for peaches.
Yeah. All right. How to get rid of rats?
You've had rats before.
Yeah, I know.
How'd you get rid of them?
Jake Rowe.
Jake.
Yeah.
Jake from the story.
Jake
Put
from
his
the
knife,
story.
he stabbed the knife
Put
into
his
the
knife
fence.
in the
Go
fence.
away, rats. Go away, rats.
Basically,
Go away, rats.
Wow.
He came to my house and he picked the rat up and he took it outside and he
Okay.
said he flung it.
Wow.
Nice.
Now we learn how to get rid of them for good.
You
And he was
let
wearing a ski mask when he came over. And Nick Savarino was there too, but he didn't really do anything.
Just like moral support.
Yeah, he's also wearing a ski
Moral
mask.
support.
Yeah, he just picked up that rat. But then I got another rat and I told Jake about it. He was like, "That's your problem."
Yeah, you needed this then. You needed to know how to get rid of rats.
I think he was like, "One's the limit."
You have to cut the milk. You just throw the hot
Eat a
stones
knife,
in.
yeah.
All right. In New England, as well as in other parts of the United States, it is still believed by certain persons that if a house is infested with rats, these can be exiled by the simple process of writing them a letter in which they are recommended to depart
That's
and,
too.
An eviction? You should write an eviction?
and make their abode in another locality. The letter should indicate...
The rats are reasonable.
Yeah.
You can just
write
have you
a
asked
letter,
the rats?
get signatures on it. Yeah. The letter should indicate precisely the habitation to which they are assigned and the road to be taken, and should contain such representations of the advantages of the change as may be supposed to affect the intelligence of the animal in question. The method of freeing a house from its domestic pests is well known, but is commonly regarded as a jest. As in most cases, however, what is supposed to be mere humor is in fact the survival of a perfectly serious and very ancient usage. This custom, still existing in retired places, is illustrated by the following document, the genuineness of which may be relied on.
So this is about to be the rat eviction.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
The country house of a gentleman whose permanent home in Boston being infested by rats, the owner proposed to use poison, but the caretaker, who was in charge of the empty house, represented that there was a better way, namely to address an epistle to the creatures. He prepared a letter, of which the following is a reproduction.
Cool.
Maine, October 31st, 1888.
Whoa, Halloween Day.
3 8.
Dear rats.
Messrs. Rats and Co.
Okay, that's who it's addressed to. Rats and Co.
What do you think?
Rats and Company. That's
It's
cool.
Boston. I was like, is this short for Monsieurs?
Monsieurs.
Maybe it is.
I think that's you do misters, kind of
Yeah.
like that.
Messrs. Rats and Co. Having taken quite a deep interest in your welfare in regard to your winter quarters,
Nice.
I thought I would drop you a few lines which
Seems
might
good.
be of some considerable benefit to you in the future.
So we get the Studio Ghibli movie.
Yeah, this would be cool. This little boy writes the rats a letter.
Yes.
This is cute.
Seeing that you have pitched your winter quarters at the summer residence of redacted number 1 Seaview Street, I wish to inform you that you will be very much disturbed during cold winter months, as I am expecting to be at work through all parts of the house, shall take down ceilings, take up floors, and clean out every substance that would serve to make you comfortable. Likewise, there will be nothing left for you to feed on, as I shall remove every eatable substance. So you had better take up your abode elsewhere.
Will there be eatable substances around?
I
It's gonna be a
will.
great party. There'll be eatable substances.
Yeah, there's. Oh, we good. I will refer you to the farm of Redacted, number 6 Incubator Street, which you will find a splendid cellar well filled with vegetations of all kinds.
Sounds
Besides a shed leading to a barn with a good supply of grain, where you can live snug and happy. Shall do you no harm if you need to, if you heed to my advice.
Whose cellar is that? Whose cellar?
Isn't
and
it
barn?
his?
Well, it's his.
I think it's his.
He's recommending you
okay.
go to another farm.
It's not his farm.
He
has a farm and he lives in Boston.
No, he's saying go to this other
Right,
my
but at
friend's
the
farm.
beginning,
Is it?
It
his
said-
farm or is it his
it
farm?
said he has a farm, or maybe it's his friend's farm. I think.
Yeah,
it's his
he's
farm.
saying
Interesting.
get out of my Boston house, go to this farm because it
Yeah.
says the superstition. You have
Right,
to
yeah,
give them
you
another
gotta give them
address.
Yeah.
I would just do it nearby.
Yeah.
I'd do.
And he just
My
picked
friend's
a
house.
random
Fine.
person. Yeah.
Or-
Yes. Shall do you no harm if you heed to my advice, but if not, shall employ quote unquote rough on rats. Yours, redacted.
No worries if not. No worries if you can't make it out there.
But I'll be
Buddy.
rough on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Threatening. This letter was greased, rolled up, and thrust into the entrance of the rat holes. And
Did you grease up? I'm like, okay, you wrote the letter, and then I'm like, wait, you gave
gotta-
it to him already? I'm like, did you grease
you
it?
gotta grease it up. They can't read it if you don't grease it.
It won't get through the rat holes if you don't grease it. It's gonna get stuck.
Gotta lube it up. In order that it might be duly read, marked, and inwardly digested.
Yummy.
The result.
Oh, they're gonna eat it. That's how they read it.
Wow.
Just eating
And it kills them. The result being, as the owner of the house was assured, that the number of the pests had been considerably diminished. The reader cannot but admire the persuasive style of the Yankee farmer and the judicious mixture of argument, blandishment, and terror exhibited in the document. While in the choice of the barn of a neighbor, recommended as a desirable place of abode, is shown a shrewdness worthy of its reward. That the practice of writing letters to rats is not confined to New England will appear from the following extract taken from the Baltimore Sun, February 21st, 1888.
So there's a lot of different rat letters going on.
Yes.
It's not just
Yeah.
this one guy.
As cited in the New York Times, February 23rd.
News to me that Baltimore's
Cool.
not in New England. Like I
Right,
guess.
I thought
but yeah.
also Maryland.
Yeah.
But
It was-
Maryland's the South, I
It's-
guess. If you're
yeah.
from New England.
Yeah.
you're from real New England.
Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
The testimony and the contest over the will of George Jessup
He left it to the rats. Damn.
of quote unquote Kenilworth near Cockneyville and Baltimore County was completed yesterday. The will bequeaths Kenilworth, the ancestral home of the Jessup family, to George Jessup, Esquire, son of the testator, after the death of his stepmother and the widow and other children of the testator seek to have the will set aside on the ground that the elder Mr. Jessup, who died April 3rd, 1887, in the 84th year of his age, was of unsound mind. Among the witnesses for the defense examined yesterday was Mr. James Howard, residing in Baltimore County, about 2 miles from Kenilworth. He testified that Mr. Jessup was entirely competent. On cross-examination, Colonel
Yeah.
Colonel Charles Marshall asked him if he ever proposed to Mr. Jessup to try to drive the drive the rats away from the house.
That's the first mention of the rats, right?
Yeah.
To propose.
There's been a lot of stuff about
First mention.
Right.
This is the article.
there's some kind of like
It's a New York Times.
It's a New York Times
right,
article.
the New York Times article, and
It's
there's some kind of contentious.
This isn't the letter to the rats. This is about referencing. The
Here's
letter
a
to
conversation.
Right,
I'll use different
right.
voices. I did, sir.
That's good.
All right, that's one. Keep it that one.
Yeah,
Keep it
that
that one.
was
Keep
cool.
it.
I remember he's American. Halfway through.
No,
it's
it's a long
1800s.
time
It's
ago.
I
yeah.
did, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did,
yeah.
sir.
Nailing it.
Replied the witness. How did he tell him you were going to drive them away? By letters. These sound
They sound pretty similar now. The two voices.
I did, sir.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very different.
I did, sir.
Yeah.
Replied the witness. He's an immigrant from England.
Yeah. We all are.
How did you tell him you were going to drive them away? By letters.
There you go.
How were you going to do it by letters? By reading them. To whom? To the rats. How much was he going to give you for doing that? There was no contract between us.
I'm imagining they're in a courtroom, and then he goes like, "My next witness," and then they go,
rats.
"Bring him in!"
Bring
and then
in
just
the rats.
huge cascade of rats
Bring in
enters the
rats.
courtroom.
Yes.
Endless stream of rats entering the courtroom.
Yes. How much was he going to give you for doing that? There was no contract between us. You were to read the letter, and he was to read it? I was to write the letter, and Mr. Jessup was to read it. You thought that would drive them away? I didn't think anything about it. I tried it, and I know it. You have done it. I have done it. Did you write a letter
I'm
to
in court.
Mr.
I'm in court, and I'm like, "Nah, yeah, I did step on a crack, and my mom's back did break.
You have broken your back."
It happened.
I don't think that did happen."
In the 1880s. Did you write a letter to Mr. Jessup's rats or ask him to write one to them? Mr. Jessup wanted to write it, but I would not let him.
Why?
I wrote it
Why?
when I went home that night. At least I got my daughter to write it, and I took and gave it to Mr. Jessup.
So do you not know how to write? It sounds like neither of y'all know how to write.
The rats know how to write. What
They're
had-
on the same level as the rats. I
Bring
think.
the
Yeah.
daughter into the court.
What had he to
Daughters,
do
all
with
rats.
it? I told him to take the letter to the meat house and read it, and lay the letter down on the meat house floor. Did he do that? He told me he did.
Is it meat like
Meat house
that we eat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Meat house.
Yeah.
'Cause we have meeting houses.
Like
It's
a
a meat
social
house.
Meat house.
Yeah, it's like a butcher.
Yeah.
No, like
My meat house.
Yeah.
In that letter, didn't you tell them that they had lived on Mr. Jessup long enough? Yes, sir. Didn't you tell them they must leave? Yes, sir, I did. Didn't you tell them to go straight to the lane? Yes, sir.
Of course.
Past the stone house and keep on up the hill right past the church, and not to go down the turnpike or up the turnpike, but to keep on until they came to the large white house on the right and turned there. That it was Captain Lowe's house, and they would get plenty to eat there. I did.
Dang.
Did Mr. Jessup
You're not.
reply?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was a
man.
very specific directions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where my enemy lives.
Yes.
Take
Did
a left.
Mr. Jessup report to you that the paper had disappeared? Yes, sir, he did. Didn't you tell him that he broke the charm? Yes, sir. What did he say had become of the paper? He didn't know, and
Why
I
are they
didn't
talking
know.
about this in court? I don't understand.
He came to tell you that it had disappeared. The rats did not go. The last time I called on him, he said that he had really believed a great many of them did go, and they hadn't all gone. But they hadn't all gone. All those who understood the letter had gone? I don't know about that. Maybe some understood it and didn't go too. During this examination...
True, bro. He got your ass.
During this examination...
I don't know, they don't speak English. But they understand it, obviously.
They got it.
Because we told them to leave and some of them left.
You evicted them.
So...
During this examination, the attorneys and their clients, the jury, court officials, and the large audience were convulsed with laughter.
No.
And during the day, the slightest allusion to the quote-unquote rat story was the signal for a fresh outburst. Mrs. Katie Barker, one of the contestants of the estate... that would have got the rats out. Confirmed the evidence of Mr. Howard and said the episode occurred in 1882. Her father, she said, shut the door and refused to allow her to accompany him any farther when he went out to read the letter to the rats.
Honey, you stay here. No, you can't come.
Don't watch. It'll be noticed that in this case, the writ is to be served viva voce.
The
Viva
rent?
voce.
Vive?
It will be
Is
noticed.
it Vive with the E?
It's
Or A?
viva, like viva,
Nice.
and then voce.
Voce. Viva voce.
Okay.
It's Italian.
Cool. You know that.
don't know.
The writ is to be
Sounds
served viva voce.
Voce.
And also that the document must not be written by the same person who reads it, who apparently must be the master of the house. Wow.
Those are the rules?
Those are the rules of the rat letter.
Dang.
Wow.
The rat
That
letter
was
was
cool.
crazy.
There's 2 rat letter stories. That was
Yeah,
a good
2 in a
one.
row.
Good section.
Yeah, I should try that next time.
Yeah, you gotta you gotta get your daughter to write the letter, or you gotta grease it up.
You gotta
and
get
put
other
it in a
people to
hole.
do it, yeah.
Little grease.
There's 2 different ways
Little elbow
to do
grease.
it. Yeah, they read the letter to the rats in this one, versus the first time they let the rats eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That was good.
It's a pretty good time. Seems like the next couple ones have some slurs in them, so we're gonna
Really?
call it for today.
Positive. Seems like a good
Who
move.
wrote that book?
It's edited, so it's like a thing where there's editors.
compiled,
You know?
right.
It's selected and edited by Tristan Potter Coffin and Hinig Cohen.
He sounds weird.
Tristan.
Sounds like some
This
weird
is my
guy.
friend Tristan.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is Tristan.
Oh, Tristram.
Tristan's
Me
the
too.
most unhinged name.
I hope they're
Tristan.
proud.
Is that a girl's name or a boy's name?
Tristram?
Tristan.
Tristram?
Tristan.
Tristram is no one's name. That's very
There's a
fake.
book called Tristram
Tristram.
Shandy.
Tristram.
So yeah, how did you? Those are pretty good.
Those are cool.
The rat letter really delivered.
Is
Yeah.
interesting. I don't know if I would read that in my free time.
Yeah, well, you did.
I don't know if I would.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I would read it
Tricked
if
you.
you guys weren't here.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the point.
That's the
of it.
benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to give you guys books.
That's the wisdom of
Wow.
Do you guys want books?
Maybe.
I feel like I want to give you a poetry book because
Whoa.
you like poetry, right?
Sure. Do you have any final thoughts before we
On
stop
books?
recording? Yeah.
These were some good times. I like the George Burns book.
it. I like the Heem story
I
that was
that we
great.
pulled out
That
of
was
Angelina.
good. I hope
Good.
Humes doesn't hear that and sue
Yeah,
me.
he's been
He's
searching
He's
his
searching.
name. He searches his name in YouTube.
Through YouTube
Yeah.
transcripts.
Transcripts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
YouTube
Types of
transcripts.
names.
Would.
There's a lot of false
Himanshu,
positives. Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the music.
Yeah, I'd love to have you on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you.
I don't know if I would read either of those, any of these books, when if you guys weren't here. But I like being exposed to things that are, you know, outside of my normal purview.
That's good.
So,
Yeah.
well, tune in next time for more.
Thanks for having me.